Hello, welcome to my channel. This is Sir Gabs again, and in this video we'll be talking about the limit laws. Okay, so these are the laws that we will be discussing. It's limit law number 1 until limit law number 8. So the first one is all about the constant. So if you are dealing with a constant function, so example is this, the number 1. If you are to find the limit of, let's say, 7 as x approaches 3, then the answer will always be 7. Okay? So the limit law number 1, ingon siya nga, if you have the limit of the constant as x approaches a, regardless of the value of a, it's always equal to c. So in other words, you have the limit of 7 as x approaches 3, it's always equal to 7. So whatever the value of a here, di ba, mamali si a, no, as x is approaching to a. So bisan pag 5 na siya, the result will always be 7. So in other words, it will always be the constant. So mo na siya. Okay. So following the pattern in limit law number 1. And then number 2, you have the limit of x. Okay, this is the identity, no? As x approaches, let's say 5, is just equal to 5. So, kibali, if the function is x, if x ang function na ito, then whatever is the value of a will be the limit. So, the difference is kani constant man siya, kani is just the identity. So, ang x na ito, no? So, kani siya, mga niya ito ang itong masihan. So, whatever is the value of a here will be the limit of the function. The number 3, and number 3 is you have the limit of c f of x is equal to the c limit f of x as x approaches a. So actually, yung ibuhat lang guys lang is, ang iyahang constant, kung ang c na to, kung ang constant, i-multiply sa function, pwede rin mo ilain ang c, pagawas, and then evaluate the limit. So, example if we are to find the limit of 5x as x approaches 3, then pwede mo na siyang separate ang kaniyang constant and you multiply sa function. So, may tabo, you will come up with 5 limit of x as x approaches 3. Okay? So, sige, buhat na ito guys. Ipagawas ang constant, ang 5, ang numerical coefficient. Yung pagkahuman, syempre, mabili ng x anak. Yung kaniyang portion, notice, ang kaniyang portion, may follow na siya sa identity nga law, which is number 2, limit of x. So, limit of x na po siya. So, in other words, ang answer na to ani will be 3. So, pareho na gulani, no? Itong gitang na is the value of a. So, kay x mo na function na, then whatever is the value of a mo sa ito ang limit. So, may tabuan na, you will come up with 5 times kana siya, ang limit sa x as x approaches 3 is just simply equal to 3. So, in other words, you have the limit which is equal to 15. Okay, so this will be your final answer then. We have number 4. Ingon sa number 4 na if there is there is more than one term, so may tambuan na is pwede rin mo siyang i-separate. So di ba, ang ibutang f of x plus the g of x. So kani siya, you have the limit of f of x as x approaches a plus the limit of g of x as x approaches a. So may tambuan na guys, is pwede rin na ito siyang tagsa-tagsa o evaluate ang limit. So, example So, for example, example number 4, if you are to evaluate the limit of let's say, 2x plus 3 as x approaches, say, 0. So, kani siya, since there are 2 terms man in the function, pwede rin mo siya separate according to number 4. So, yung sa number 4, pwede rin siya separate. Ang buhat na do, you can have limit of 2x as x approaches 0 plus the limit of 3 as x approaches 0. So, muna yung pasabot. Pwede rin mo siyang separate o solve. Yeah, from here, pwede na ka pwede ka ma-apply o number 3. ng idea. So, pwede naman ipagawas ang constant. So, parehoan din, no? Ang 5 ipagawas. So, ano pwede sila ipagawas ang 2, ano? So, you have 2, limit of x as x approaches 0, plus, kanya siya, na pwede na naman siya yung, this is constant, di ba? So, limit of 3 as x approaches 0, recall the first example, this number 1 in there. Kung constant daw yung mong function, the constant itself is the limit. So, constant man yung 3, then but pasabot, ang limit na is already 3. Yeah, from here, limit of x as x approaches 0, number 2, no? Yeah, kani, ang atuang answer will be kaniniang A. So, basically, this becomes 2 times kaniniya is just 0 plus 3. Siyempre, 2 times 0 is 0. You have 3 is your final answer then. Okay? Then sa number 5, pwede na plus, pwede minus guys ha. Ang difference pa, if mag-minus ka, di siyempre ma-minus na siya. Kung minus na, then meaning negative 3 mo answer. But for this one, you have plus as your as the example as the given. Okay. Then sa number 5, ingon siya multiplication, pwede na sa separate sa multiplication. So example, if you have this, if you are to solve the limit of let's say x times 2x plus 1, this should be a bracket, no? Tangan sa kantag minus para ma-relate. So the limit of x times 2x minus 3 as x approaches, let's say, 1. Okay? So, kung napwede ra sa nimo nga, kasi tagsaon siya og evaluate. Meaning, you are to solve first. Okay, multiplication mo ning duha, di ba? So, pwede ka mag-solve sa guna sa limit of x as x approaches 1. Nga sunod, times the limit sa kanina po siya. So, 2x minus 3 as x approaches 1 ihapon. Okay, so ang gibuhat is gibungkag rin, no? Gisolve ni una, then kada sunod. Okay, you can just multiply after that. Yung from here, pwede na ito i-apply ka number 2. Ingon siya nga x na itong function, so matong answer ni will be 1. So, this should be 1 times, kanina, ka-minus mo na siya. Again, from number 4, yung isa nga pwede rin na itong separate just like example number 4. So, separate na siya, may more ng limit. Ito ni bracket. So, you have the limit of 2x then, 2x as x approaches 1, unya, minus, no, limit of 3 as x approaches 1. Okay, so ang gibuhat ra gid no is tagsa-tagsa siya og solve ang limit. Yeah, gikan dali, sorry, 1 ra man na, so pwede ra nagwala, no? 1 times anything is just this anything, no? So 1 times this 1 will be this one itself. So pwede ra man tatawon na ako ng 1 na lang dayon. So from here kani constant man eh. It's 2 limit of x as x approaches 1. Okay? Minus kana siya is constant, so basically the answer for that is 3. Kanya, pagkahuman, kanya siya, limit of x as x approaches 1, this is identity, so may tabo, 1 rato ang limit for this one. So you have 2 times 1, therefore, minus 3, okay, which is just equivalent to or equal to negative 1. So this will be our final answer then. Okay, so these are the examples for number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. So until multiplication. Actually, sa division, same story. No? But I don't have space na, so I need to erase, no? Ang pasabot niya sa number 6, rule number 6 or law number 6, nga kung kung division, then pwede rasanin mo siyang tag sa unang solve. So if you are to solve the limit, for example, of x minus 2 all over x plus 1, as x approaches 0, then pwede na yung sa tagsaon. This means pwede kang ang numerator lang sa limit of x minus 2 as x approaches 0 all over the limit of x plus 1 as x approaches 0. Okay? So, ang gimbuhat is ito sa tagsa siya. Pwede yung solve sa nimong limit sa numerator all over limit of the denominator gihapon. So, kani, pwede tayong ma-apply sa number 4 nga pwede na siyang separate, no? So, kani, you will come up with the limit of x as x approaches 0 minus the limit of 2 as x approaches 0 all over, kanda na sad, limit of x as x approaches 0 plus the limit of x, I mean, no, not limit of x, but limit of 1 as x approaches 0. So from here, all you have to do is to remember lang number 1 and number 2. So kaya sa number 2 ni siya ma-apply, the identity, so 0 atong answer ni. 0, kani siya is constant, so minus 2, the constant. All over, kani siya, 0. Kani is constant, so this should be plus 1. So that means my billing is just negative 2 over 1, which is basically negative 2 lang. Okay, so this will be the limit of this function. The number 7 is this one, if there is exponent, no? So limit of the function raised to a power. Ang may tabo, another example for this would be this one, no? Let's say you have the limit, you find the limit of saman ka, no? Pwede ang x squared na lang, no? X squared minus 3x. Kana. As x approaches 2. Wato ningon siya pag kanini ang may minus or there are two terms or more than one term, then pwede lang tayo separate. So pwede tayo siya separate na. This will become the limit. Unahon ko na x squared as x approaches 2. And then minus, kana siya, the limit of 3x as x approaches 2. So basically, separate na ako siya. So from here, nana siya exponent. Mo ni ang sa number 7 ng example. So yun siya, pag na-exponent, pwede ra nga i-solve nimo ang base lang sa, kibali na ni may tabo, no? Imo lang sa siyang i-reject, imo lang siyang ipaulahi o solve ang exponent. So you have limit of x lang ang imong solbon as x approaches 2. Unya, diri na ang exponent. Okay, kaya kanina naman tayo rulan eh. Pwede naman tayo mo solve using number 1 and number 2. Unya, minus, ano siya? Constant, pwede pagawas, 3. And then you have limit of x as x approaches 2. From here, masolve na nato, identity man siya. So that's just simply 2. Okay? So whatever is the value of a, mo ito yung limit aning function. Limit aning function. So we have 2 and then the exponent squared minus, ako lang ikuha na bracket para makita niyo ang difference. So kana nga 2 is gikan na siya sa sud. Kani siya. Answer na siya sa limit na rin. Yung kanina 2 is the exponent. Minus 3 times, kana siya, kung sa limit na. Limit of x as x approaches 2, syempre is 2. Now, from here, you have 2 squared is 4, minus 2 times 2 is 6. So, the answer here is negative 2. This will be the limit of the function. Okay? Then, for number 8, actually, mo na yung pinaka-simple na way in solving the limit. Simplest way in solving the limit. Ingan siya, what is the limit, if we have the limit of the function f of x as x approaches a, it's just equal to f of a. So, pag mayroon tag f of a, buot pasambot, ang a, no, which is this one, ang a, i-substitute ra nimo sa function. I-substitute ra. So, sa'yo yung pag-idea siya kayo, guys, no, kung yung mong tanawon. So, tanan, actually, tanawon nimo, wala man siya restriction, pwede rin yung bungkag-bungkagon. So, in short, mao ni siya summary sa tanan, no? Ang buhaton ro di ay i-substitute ro din mo ang value. So kanin bitang 0 ana. Kung i-substitute nimo na siya diha, di ba, ang resulta na will be 0 minus 2 all over 0 plus 1. Unya, kung imo nang solbo ng tiwas, 0 minus 2 is negative 2 over 1, which is basically negative 2. So kung makita nimo, the same ro dahil sila. Okay? Unya, talikod, ang number 7, ingon siya, ang A daw, i-substitute ra sa function. O, ano na ka-simple, no? Kung i-substitute naman lang sa function, di ba, may tabuan na will be 2 squared minus 3 times 2. So, tanawa na 3 times 2. Kunya, this is now 4 minus 6, which is equal to negative 2. Ito, ara. So, tanawa mo sa iyo, magyapon daw, answer. Okay? So, muna ipasabot ni number 8. So, whatever it is, ang imong gid buhaton is ang pag-substitute. So, that's mainly the reason nga pag may tag limit of x as x approaches a is equal to a, kay substitute raman di ay, no? Kay example, may minanta. Pag may tag ang last example number 8. The limit of x as x approaches 5. Di simple ra kayo, no? Imong buhaton, i-substitute ang 5 diha sa x. So, syempre, may imong 5 ra ang imuhang limit. Okay? Alaral, so number 9, kung naatay daghang, let's say, limit of x squared minus 3x plus 1 as x approaches 1, so buhaton, i-substitute ra tanan. Substitute ra, so meaning, applying limit law number 8, substitute ra tanan, may mo na siyang 1 squared minus 3 times 1 plus 1. Okay? So that means you have 1 minus 3 plus 1 is negative 1. So this will be the limit. Okay? So that's how we solve the limit of the function using these guidelines. Mao na ito ang kibali basihan. Pwede naman ang tagsa-tagsaon, applying 1 to 7, pero pwede rin sa gikang ma-apply diretso sa number 8. Okay? So, just substitute right away. Pero anyway, hanapin yung mga weaknesses na. Na yung mga times nga dili applicable ang number 8 right away, napatay pang buhaton. Okay? So, we'll talk about it in the next videos.